Hey friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today I am going to show you exactly how you are to trim your butterfly bushes and why you need to do that. I'm going to show you step by step how to do a full-size butterfly bush like this pink Cascade 2, and I am also going to show you how to prune your more miniature butterfly bushes like the Pugster series. Before we get started, let's just go through some basics about butterfly bushes. Butterfly bushes, or buddleias, are a full sun loving shrub. Of course, they are known for attracting butterflies, hence their name, but not only butterflies, but all sorts of pollinators. Full sun, they bloom on new growth, which is important. This is why we are pruning them coming out of winter and going into spring. So we want to give them a nice haircut. Therefore, they will want to push out new growth. And because they bloom on that new growth, that means that you are going to be ensured loads of beautiful flowers once it gets nice and warm, because once they start blooming, they go all the way through the summer and into the fall. Where I am in North Carolina, a zone 8A, they will go well into the fall full of blooms. Butterfly bushes also prefer dry soil. They do not like really damp areas. So if you have a full sun area like I do here at the berm, they like it full sun, well draining soil. Here on the berm, it is raised, and so water sheds away. We do have it on irrigation, but this certainly does not sit in wet soil. If you lose a butterfly bush over the winter, odds are it is because it was too wet and it drowned. If you are like me and have a red clay soil or clay soil, compacted soil that really retains water, then you're definitely going to want to plant your butterfly bush high. When I say high, that means when you plant it for the very first time, your root ball is actually going to be sticking above the soil line about an inch. You can then come back and put mulch around it, or pine needles, whatever it is that you use for your covering, but definitely do not sink a butterfly bush too low, and do not put your native soil up on top of the root ball and crowd the crown of the plant. Well draining soil on the dry side, they love it. Now, I am going to show you first. We have the pink Cascade 2 here. It is a massive flowers on it, a lovely pink color that the pollinators love. It had its first year in the berm. We are almost at a year, because it was in the warmth of the summer that I moved it from the Creekside Nursery gardens over here, and it just was a beautiful plant. So I'm going to rearrange the cameras, zoom in close, and show you exactly how to prune this full-size butterfly bush. There's just a couple of basic tools that you're going to need when you prune your butterfly bushes. Me personally, I am a glove girl, so I always like to have my gloves. And so if you like gloves, grab a pair of gloves and let's go for it. You also need a good pair of pruners. I have my Felcos. You saw me. I always, at this time of year especially, I'm in the garden constantly, so I am constantly cleaning and sharpening my Felcos. That way, when I attack these butterfly bushes, I have a nice sharp pair of pruners. When I switch over to the Pugsters, I'm going to show you how you can also use a hedge trimmer. That is right, my friends. We're going to pull out some of the power equipment. We're basically going to take this thing back by at least by half. They are very vigorous growers, and so we can really get in there and prune it. If you want to be very specific of where you're going to cut your butterfly bush, you can find 2 leaves that have started to emerge, and you're going to cut right above that, and we're going to pull that out. So I'm going to get in here. I see it, the perfect limb right here for me. So I prune it, cut it, and then bring it out. So there is some new growth here that I see on my stems. That's okay. We're going to go ahead and get rid of it. You do want to wait until you start to see new growth on your butterfly bushes before you prune it. It just kind of helps the plant ensure that everything is alive and happy before you really get in there and start pruning. So it's not, I promise, it is not hard. You cannot hurt this butterfly bush. I think it would be really, really hard to prune it too much. I have seen some folks where these butterfly bushes are very vigorous and they literally can cut them to the ground. In fact, some of our colder friends that have live in colder climates, butterfly bushes may actually die all the way down to the ground for them in the winter time because they just have that winter kill, and then they come back from all the way down from the ground. So if you are in a warmer zone like I am, it would be extremely hard to over prune your butterfly bush. The goal is to get in here and clean it up. If you happen to see any stems that have no growth, you definitely want to take those out. So for some reason right here, I have a lot of stems that look dead. I would suspect because due north is straight this way and the wind comes over the hill and would hit the butterfly bush here. So that's why I suspect that this side of the bush looks dead. Where on this side it's more protected and it's got lots of beautiful new growth. Am I worried about this? No, I am not, because at the very bottom of the plant, there's tons of new growth at the base. So if this is dead, I'm not gonna cut it halfway back, I'm gonna cut it all the way back down to the ground. So that's what I'm gonna do. If it's clearly dead, you're gonna cut it all the way back until you hit new growth. If it's dead, nothing's gonna come from that. So we wanna cut it all the way back until you see green in the inside of your stem. And if you don't see any green, just cut it straight down to the ground. You can take your time. Remember, you can cut more off, but you can't add some back. Again, it's really hard to over prune a butterfly bush. You've got this. Just get out there and give it a good overall haircut, at least by half. So that's what I'm gonna do on this one. The Pink Cascade 2 has been pruned. There you go, my friends, right? So right now, from my angle, she looks a little lopsided because this is where all the dead was. And right now it is a cool, brisk spring morning. The wind is coming in from the north, and guess what? It's hitting right here. So I know that that's why this part of the butterfly bush died. Again, I am not worried about it. There is tons of new growth right there. It will flush out. Once the heat hits, this thing explodes and is ginormous. Huge pink flowers on it. That is how you're going to prune a traditional size, larger, medium size butterfly bush, right? So we get a lot of questions about how do you prune a pugster butterfly bush, because they're only like 2 to 3 feet tall and wide. So how do you prune that? We're gonna hop over. Right behind me, I have a whole mass of the pugster pinkers, and I'm gonna show you exactly how to do that. And this time I'm going to use my hedge trimmer. Here we are on the other side of the berm. Pink Cascade 2 is just right there. I am standing in this lovely patch. I have 9 pugster pinkers in this space. You can see it is a nice kind of, the average size on this is a 2 to 3 foot tall and wide. Here in the south, we tend to go, mature size is gonna be at least that 3 by 3. The daffodils are blooming and they look fantastic. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my hedge trimmers and I'm gonna give it basically an overall cut. I am not gonna be precise and worried about making sure I get exactly right above 2 leaf buds. If you want to do that, you absolutely can do that, just how I did it with Pink Cascade 2. However, if you have a ton of butterfly bushes like I do right here, and you don't want to have to do that, don't worry about it. Trust me, they will be absolutely fine. My main goal here is just to shape it up. So yes, they're going to be very kind of spherical, ball shaped by the time I get done. Let me do one and show you, and then we'll go ahead and get the rest of them done as well. Okay, as you can see, it took just a couple of little clips to do it, and then it is done. We can get all this cleaned up. Was not worried about exactly how I did it. This butterfly bush will flush back out once we get nice consistent heat, which we've had like 80 degrees. It's just today's a cool day. They'll flush out and be fine. Tons of new growth at the bottom and lots of really pretty growth up here at the top. If you wanted to come back at this point and clean up some of the ones that look like maybe they're dead or the old blooms, you certainly could do that. If you don't want to do that, don't worry about it and just move on to the next ones, which is what I'm going to do. So I've got 1 down, 8 to go. All right, friends, so today's project of trimming the butterfly bushes is complete. All of the Pugster Pinkers have been pruned. Literally, y'all, took the hedge trimmer to it and shaped it up. Easy peasy. I did go back when I was cleaning up the debris. I just went through with my hand, and you'll know if a stem is dead on a butterfly bush because it will just snap. So don't worry about it, just snap it back and it is all right. Now, just as a design note in here, the butterfly bushes right now kind of fade away because the daffodils are the star of this show. I planned this bed to have those 4 seasons of interest, right? So right now, the daffodils are blooming. Once the daffodils are done, of course, you need to leave their foliage so that they can build up the energy for next year's flowers. As they begin to fade away, that is when the butterfly bushes begin to fill out. I have little lime punch hydrangeas in there, and I have Shasta daisies. So those will begin to emerge really well and get nice and full and begin blooming when my daffodils are on their way out. You know, you can safely cut back your daffodil foliage once it is turning yellow and kind of brown and limpy, but you want to leave it until then so the bulb can have enough energy to produce these beautiful flowers for this year. So this bed constantly changes. I love that the daffodils are in here. The Pugster Pinker makes such a beautiful statement en masse, especially here at the berm. You want to feed your butterfly bushes, you can use a great all-purpose slow-release fertilizer. Plant tone would be amazing, right? Because as I say, plant tone is the Swiss Army knife of fertilizer, so you can certainly use that. If you have some rose tone, you could use that as well. So just throw it on there. I fertilize them once a year. This is the perfect time to do it as they're putting on that new growth. And there you go. Of course, butterfly bushes, if you want to go in there and clean up the old blooms, you can. However, both the Pugster Pinker and the Pink Cascade 2, you do not have to deadhead them in order to get those flowers, right? They will continuously produce those flowers and your butterflies will love it. I hope you have found this fun, informative, and inspirational. If you have not yet subscribed to Gardening with Creekside, I would love for you to do that. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you have not already subscribed. We are so close to hitting 100,000 subscribers that we would love to hit that mark as soon as possible. So if you enjoy these videos and you find them helpful, we would love for you to subscribe. Of course, it is completely free. You just get notified when we publish our videos 5 days a week. We appreciate you. Y'all have a great day. See you in the next video. Bye, friends.